Hi, Dr. Rudy Cashman. Welcome to the Cashman Wellness Show. This show, as you know, which airs 6:30 on Mondays, is generally about diabetes. But today's show will be a little bit different. It'll be about the same subject, but I've been asked to speak, and I hope you will make it on January the 20th on Martin Luther King Day at the Grand Way Center. I'm on at 10:30. And they asked me to speak about diabetes. Yeah. So I read the biography of Martin Luther King, the autobiography of Martin Luther King, and I was really so impressed with that today's show I'm going to base a little bit on that great American hero. Martin Luther King had a dream. He had a dream. It made it come true. He made it come true. He was a minister who had an open mind, did a lot of reading. I thought I do a lot of reading. There's 1,500 books in my basement. That man read more than that. He studied the great philosophers of the world who inhaled the wisdom available from the past and read the Bible and a lot of philosophers. With the help of many people, men and women, young and old, black and white, and other ethnic groups, including Gandhi from India, taught him peaceful resistance was more powerful than conflict. Interesting from what I saw on the news last night. Okay? The churches and people of faith were his army. He brought a lot of people to freedom. I read his autobiography and biography 3 times and still look at it almost daily. It's very inspiring what one person can get done. I'm sure he's watching us from above right now. I'm convinced of it. I practiced neurosurgery for 45 years. And notice the majority of my patients actually needed wellness coaching and not surgery, including all races, males, females. What I learned was the emotional aspect of a human being, which we all have emotions. I practiced neurosurgery for 45 years. So while starting my neurosurgery training at Georgetown in D.C., so I did neurosurgery, on July 1, 1963, just think about that a minute. July, is that significant? I was driving across town in August to go to D.C. General and ran into a crowd of 200,000 people attending the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. Yeah, happened to me. I stopped the car, couldn't get through the crowd, and joined the crowd, mingled in the crowd, and heard part of his speech. I think it was meant to be. Just like me being here today. That was 57 years ago. I was driving towards D.C. General Hospital where I treated a huge number of African Americans with extreme high blood pressure. Like 400 over 200, 400 over 350, yes. It was common. Unbelievable figures. They all had diabetes, including major brain hemorrhages. Huge brain hemorrhages I was taking out. I was able to save some lives. I've never seen blood pressures like that again. I still see a lot of high blood pressure patients, but pressures like that I've never seen since. But we're still experiencing a huge number of complications from diabetes. We're looking to end the pandemic across the world of chronic diabetes complicated by 30 to 50 very serious medical diseases. Diabetes is not a disease. Diabetes is the cause of these 30 diseases. That's what I want you to understand. Let me show you the illnesses. This is just part of them that diabetes can cause. And this is why I get a bit excited about it. Okay? Have a look at this. And I'll review that with you a little bit. You can pick up a copy that's free at the Three Rivers Pharmacy by Concordia High School. Okay, let me review these a little bit with you. Blindness, retinal disease, cataracts, strokes, dementia, dental disease. 90% of dental disease is due to sugar, which is the cause of type 2 diabetes. Liver disease, liver transplants, vascular disease, heart attacks, renal failure, uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, multiple kidney, bowel, ovarian cancers, hip and knee arthritis, nerve damage, joint dysfunction, dislocations, amputations, impotency, uterine cancer. I can go on and on, all caused by type 2 diabetes, which is preventable, stoppable, reversible, 90% of the time in about 60 days. Yeah. More than 70% of the white population, 90% of African American population, if properly tested, with serum insulins, have diabetes. Not just blood sugars, not just glucose tolerance tests. Suppose you're a little bit overweight, okay? And I run fasting blood sugar and it's normal. Does that prove you don't have diabetes? No. Suppose I ran glucose tolerance test, fasting, 1 hour, 2 hour. Is normal. Does that prove you don't have diabetes? No. If you run serum insulin tolerance test, fasting 1 hour, 2 hour, and that's normal, then you don't have diabetes. Yes. We don't run the serum insulins, which we could catch diabetes 10 to 15 years before their time. Okay? Genetics play about a 10% part. It is the expression of their genes. Buying fast food brings it up to 90%. This, of course, involves lack of food education, the school system, and personal choice. When African Americans were slaves, they starved them. They ate sugar cane, which changed their genetic structure. That's playing a part, but that's not the main part, okay? So we are catching people late in their disease. We need to run the Kraft test, the serum insulins, early in the disease process. We catch them 10 to 15 years before their time. What would be helpful then, it's a lot easier to eat nutrient-dense food when you've been eating it as a child. It's hard to change an adult. A child would be a lot easier. And children get diabetes. But Kraft published this research for us back in 1975. You can see in his book he published in 2006. Rarely do I meet a provider that's ever read the book. Shameful. You can see him on YouTube too. We recently died at age 94. We should be screening our children differently. We're missing a lot of our children on the path to diabetes, and they're becoming disabled and dying 20 to 30 years before their time. You get diabetes, you'll die 20, 30 years before your time, and you'll be disabled the last 30 years. Canes, wheelchairs, demented. Maybe you're dead from an unannounced heart attack. The African Americans, South Americans, Asians, Chinese, and Indians have a higher rates of diabetes. It's twice as common, 1.8 times as common in the black community. It's not because they're black, it's because of a combination of what they're eating, genetic structure, their past, their history. We could avoid 30 to 50 chronic illnesses simply by eating different foods. This smells of opportunity. Rudy's good news, a golden opportunity. Okay. And let me show you a cover of Dr. Kraft's book. Here it is. And what does he say on the cover? Diabetes epidemic, you. Should you ever be tested? Absolutely not, unless you care about your health. That tell you what I'm talking about? I think that tells you the facts of the matter. Okay? Let me hold up for you another book here. How I Feel. It's a book I wrote. The New Slavery. Preventing sugar addiction. That's what it's all about. See the hands at the bottom? They're not just black. They're white and brown and all colors, all in chains. and look at the sugar foods above that. We're a slave to sugar, all of us, some a little more than others. But I want you to wake up. This is the new slavery. We are slaves to sugar, the booger and the hooker. That's the cause of the majority of this problem, okay? Diabetes is more common than alcoholism, smoking, and drug addiction combined. What do we focus on? Drug addiction. That's a big thing, but this is much bigger. But the epidemic of diabetes and its many chronic diseases are much more common and extremely costly in terms of disability, death, medical costs. Hospitals are full of these patients. We could close down 50% of them if we get rid of diabetes. The good news is that it's 90% preventable, stoppable, reversible. Rudy's good news. When I diagnose the disease at the start, and doctors just medicate with dangerous medications, just listen to the side effects on TV. Every day you hear it. What does public health, government, medicine do? Script to the ill. Prevention should be the approach. Diet, exercise, type of food are the answer. We're building clinics and hospitals in the area almost on a daily basis. There's something in the paper. Another one was just announced the other day. What we need is a blood testing clinic which also teaches prevention and wellness of diabetes and other addictions, alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, sugar, opioids. A standalone facility may be the point. If the hospitals don't want to teach it, we need some other facility. Maybe it'll be the churches. The government gives $40 billion to the corn industry every year, which manufactures high fructose corn syrup, which is the cause of a lot of this. Shameful, shameful. It's cheap and in most foods. Our foods are stripped of vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, which run the metabolism of our body. We're a fast food nation, and look at the results. Fast food is without vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and full of toxins, bad fats. You can get rid of diabetes in about 6 to 8 weeks. 90% of the time by proper eating, and a 30-minute walk can be helpful. To me, this is not a complicated answer for something that can take 30 years off your lifespan and give you 30 years of disability or maybe sudden death. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. What public health, government, and pharmaceutical companies and most of the medical establishment is doing is maintaining the problem, not solving it. I've lived that world now for over 50 years. But I'm only 39 for the 44th time in April. I'm hesitant to bring this up, but someone must stand up to the problem, just like Martin Luther King did. He certainly was a lot braver than I. About 3 years ago, I went to the Indiana State Office of Public Health in Annapolis. I brought with me 2 large bags full of books and DVDs, as scientific proof of what I'm talking about. I left them there. I was given 1 hour and appreciate that. I pointed out the epidemic that was making our cities, counties, and country look very bad because we are killing our people, the majority of which could be prevented. That visit resulted in nothing. Soon thereafter, Vice President Pence appointed him Surgeon General of the United States, where he is today. I have no evidence at this time that he's done anything significant to prevent, stop, and reverse diabetes. My phone remains silent. I see messages from him on my email just looking for campaign money, nothing about fixing the problem. Mm-hmm. Fast food is suicide on the installment plan. Fast food kills more people than cigarettes. Millions are at risk. Probably 200 million in this country have diabetes, and the majority is undiagnosed because of wrong testing. People should be screened with a serum insulin test, the Kraft test. Fast food has a number of characteristics. It's absorbed quickly, calorie dense, has a lot of artificial ingredients in it. It's highly flavored with toxic chemicals. It's full of fat, salt, and sugar. Fast food is addictive. It's like lighting a cigarette or a drink of alcohol. Most people think sugar is more addictive than cocaine. What a shame. It's been found through recent research that fast food decreases intellectual function, causes depression, and increased criminality. We need to declare war on diabetes. And the bullets are information. trying to change this pattern, I wrote a book. I hope you join me. Rudy's War on Diabetes. I'm declaring war on diabetes. And my bullets are information and love and a hug. That's my war on diabetes. It's on Amazon, or I'll have some copies with me on Norfolk King Day, okay? We need a revolution in information about food. We need to participate in our health. We need information. Those are my bullets and my bombs. We need to teach young children what bad food is and teach them how to cook. I met a German lady recently. She told me that a federal law in Germany, she teaches the class starting at age 4 through high school. She teaches them cooking. We need a federal law like that. We can have the healthiest nation in the world if we take advantage of recent advances in nutrition and food science. Modern scientific advances in health care and longevity all point to the fact that colorful natural food eaten as they were grown or picked from gardens, farms contain complex factors that protect human health. Eating fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, seeds, the anti-fast food is the secret to improving our nation's health. We could also improve our intellectual function as fast food damages the brain. Industry has set up a system of fast food addiction. The effect of fast food on the brain affects all ethnic and racial groups. The brain is highly dependent on nutrients, willpower, determination, work effort, patience, concentration, creativity, memory, and challenges are all dependent on the nutrients in the food. We're all eating the American pie. 55% processed food, 31% animal products, 10% whole grain. What can we do? The most important part of this talk. Recruit people to our army, people who want to cause a change. Declare war on diabetes. Rudy's War on Diabetes. Partner with health clinics, like the Neighborhood Health Clinic, which I visited recently. And this wonderful CEO, Anthony, gave me a tour. A wonderful place. I hope to strengthen our relationship and maybe teach there and partner with them. I met recently with our Mayor Tom Henry, and I was really had a great reception, and I think he's going to partner with this idea of Rudy's War on Diabetes. He says, I agree with it. I might even mention in his talk that's next. And embrace a huge effort by our religious institutions, all religions, okay? I like them to teach the Daniel Plan. Any church that needs somebody to give a talk on the Daniel Plan, I gladly come, do it for free, any church. Crystal Bush does it already at her church, but I gladly go to any church and help promote it, because it's teaching religion and health that they are related, and it's out of the Bible. I think it's an excellent method. Mark Hyman, who's one of the authors, Dr. Amen, I totally agree the way they teach it. So I encourage all restaurants to have alternative menu. You go to Baker Street, for example. The owner, I think, owns 2 other restaurants. He has it. You can ask for an alternative menu if you want to eat a certain way. All restaurants should have that. And not to mention the things they're trying to sell, but I mention this also. Encourage the medical system to avoid building cathedrals, places of sickness instead of health. I'm a little pessimistic there, because I've been to them and asked them to work with them, but the phone remains silent. You can see me free on Fridays to receive wellness coaching at Three Rivers Pharmacy by Concordia, 373-1083, for free. You can watch my YouTube shows on diabetes, 50 of them at least. Total shows on YouTube I've done through public access, probably 1,000, all about health. Mm-hmm. All About Health, FM 95.7. Look at my Facebook page. There I have posts. Live to be 100, Cashman Live to be 100. You can scroll down about 30 posts. I plan to establish podcasts also. Change begins by committing your body to God. Okay? God transforms you into a new person. For some of us to change because we've been using food like cocaine, it may not be easy, okay? The Daniel Plan, which teaches, written by Dr. Amen, Dr. Mike Hyman, teaches food, fitness, focus, friends, and faith are the answer. The Bible says, Corinthians 6:9, God's Spirit lives in your body. So I say, respect your body, okay? We must participate in the solution. Industry will not do it, and therefore I declare war on diabetes with knowledge, love, and faith. Okay? Join me in that. I see the promised land, and I have a dream. We shall overcome, Martin Luther King said. This crippling and deadly epidemic of diabetes and its complication must be stopped. My feet are not tired, and my soul is not at rest, said Martin Luther King. Neither is mine. When I look up, I see him nodding his head. No one will turn us around. Change is coming, and we're on the move. And under the influence of natural goodness, a man and natural power of human reasoning, devoid of faith, cannot free itself from distortions, false information, and rationalizations. Any religion that prefers to be concerned with our souls and not the health of other people will destroy itself, says Martin Luther King. I got it right out of his book. We'll not change the culture of loving money unless we apply Satyagrandi, Gandhi said, spirituality and force. We will apply Satyagrandi, informed knowledge and faith and gentle, constant force. With knowledge and information as our bullets, using the churches, TV, radio, lectures, social media, and the help of the mayor. The religious institutions cannot remain quiet. The choice is disability, death versus life. I see Martin Luther King as a radiant star of hope. The defeat of diabetes and chronic diseases in the future. Non-cooperation with evil fast food is cooperating with the good. Let's walk and dance and shimmy down the road. We are people on the move. Join me in Rudy's War on Diabetes. Free at last, free at last, free at last. I hope you learned something. I plan to use this on Martin Luther King Day. If there's something I should change, let me know or add to it. But I hope that you join me in Rudy's war against diabetes. Why I feel so strong about this is really this Joseph Kraft book, The Diabetes Epidemic in You. This book. If you see me, maybe you could get the library or borrow from me. I'm running out of copies. I've given some of you away. I've ordered a whole bunch more. I just hope that they still have them. What is particularly interesting on page 48 starting on page 49, he speaks about the pathology of type 2 diabetes, okay? Type 2 diabetes is, type 1 is where you have no insulin, okay? No insulin. That, first of all, can be more commonly in children, but the type 2 many times, because the pancreas gets tired of secreting insulin and then dies, and then they need insulin, so they become into really type 1s, you want to call them type 2s. But the first change that occurs when the insulin level rises from the blood sugar rise, the first things that occur, even before the blood pressure, is the insulin level goes up, and it punches a hole in the endothelium. That's a 1 cell layer thick. That is in all blood vessels. 1 cell layer thick, punches a hole, and that's the start of vascular disease. Mm-hmm. Actually, the ear is the first to be affected. Yeah, the ear. Would you believe that? So hearing problems, decreased hearing, Meniere's disease, all these things are seen in early diabetes. So if you're getting your hearing checked, you have a hearing problem, make sure you get fasting blood sugar, glucose tolerance tests, insulin tolerance tests. Yeah, I don't think most hearing people do that. What is he really saying? All vascular pathology, from hearing to eye changes, to heart attacks, strokes, amputations, dislocations, numbness in your feet are due to vascular changes, and the start of it is an elevation of your serum insulin on the path to diabetes. So insulin dysfunction is where these diseases start. So that's the reason I consider the test so important, and that this, to me, is the foundation of the majority of illnesses we're seeing today. His picture should be on the front of the hospitals instead of hearts or cancer cells, because most of that could be avoided by proper exercise, proper eating, etc. Thank you for listening to our show. I hope you make it to the Martin Luther King Day, a day to really celebrate January the 20th at the Grand Wayne Center. I encourage you to read his books too, his autobiography and biography. Like I told you, I read them 2 or 3 times. A man of tremendous strength, knowledge, and that he was able to use the churches a lot to produce change. Maybe that's what we have to do. And I think people's faith in the tenets of church would increase if we had looked at the health of the people, the mental health, their physical health. I think we could have a resurgence and increase church memberships. I think I'm onto something here. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you for letting me speak to you today. Watch our other shows every Monday night, 6:30. Thanks so much. I love you. That's why I'm doing this. That's my motivation. Okay. See you soon. Join Rudy's War on Diabetes. And we use information and love and gentle force to produce changes in all of us. I love you.